Okay, we're live. We have our usual like. 1 second. Ready to start recording. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome everyone to the Non-Intuitive Beat podcast brought to you by the Leaders Club that you're part to if you're listening to us. But as usual, do consider elevating your membership status by joining our Discord channel. And today in this virtual studio we have Dmitry Mananikov. Say hi to people.
Hello.
And as usually the most annoying voice would be me, Slava Kavlevsky. Oh my god.
Every time you say Discord, I open it and it starts updating. Every time it's updating.
That's what Discord does. Yes. How was your week, my friend? How is everything?
That's good. Nothing really besides work. And I actually did play games, relax, spend time with family. So I would say it's a normal week. Nothing big happened. What about yours?
Wait. Which games? No, you have to say which games.
I started to playing Cyberpilot game. I finished it once when it's just released with the bugs. Apparently they overhauled the whole fighting skills tree.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk. They did a lot of overhaul. So yeah, now trying to get because I found there's not many big games recently released. So I decided to make a second play this one.
I heard a lot of positive about it. I started playing the revised game some time ago and I decided to build a melee based character, melee weapons only. And I heard a lot of nice about DLC, but yeah, I have not tried DLC specifically. You know what else got released this week? Factorio DLC.
Wait, is it DLC or second game?
DLC. It's a DLC, Factorio Space Age.
Oh, Space Age.
Yeah. And honestly, I have not played with the first one much. I played maybe 15 minutes of tutorial. And then I realized that Factorio is available on Switch. And I haven't played Switch for quite some time. And now suddenly I have discovered this, so yeah, probably going to play Factorio. And I still have a gift somewhere from a friend of mine who gave it to me recently. I don't remember what was the occasion, but I have it, and yeah.
It's a perfect time stealer.
Have you played it?
Oh yeah. I'm not as good as creating this proper chains, so I only finished it once on easy mode, so that's it.
Got it. Oh, so it's even have a different difficulties.
Yeah, game has enemies and different events, I think, and depending on it can actually get pretty hard, especially if enemies attacks you. So you're not only building stuff, you also need to protect it.
Got it. Oh my god, I'm already sleepy, even though I just finished a double shot espresso because I was so tired, but yes.
Funny, but I always feel sleepy after espresso. I don't know why.
You know, I actually have a very reasonable pattern. Coffee is no longer works with me as used to. In fact, during lunchtime, I like to have power naps, and it's common for me to take coffee and then go do power nap.
Exactly. I do the same time to time.
You know, since we're speaking about games, let's just continue that specific front. I wanted to share that I got surprised that turns out Civilization 7, and I'm a huge fan of Civilization 5, 6, you name it. I usually played many hours of them. And recently there was a Humankind as a 4D or 4K, or how this game even called. And Humankind honestly was bad. I didn't like it at all. And now that I realize that the Civilization 7 is cooking, oh my god, I'm waiting it. But it will be released next year, so half a year probably.
Still waiting here to you.
Yep. My friend, have you played Silent Hill 2 already?
No, still postponing it. Maybe in future.
Oh man. No, I would not be able. If I have PlayStation, I would not be able.
Oh yeah, you don't have. Okay.
Yes. Unfortunately, I can't play. Maybe this is probably going to be the reason why I'll buy PlayStation. But there is a rumors that it might be coming on Xbox after a year because they only have exclusive rights for a year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will. Also, PlayStation pre-order is opened for quite some time already.
It's like you're hinting. Go and pre-order it. When is delivery?
Also, if you don't buy, you can grab mine.
Are you planning to sell?
You can just grab it.
Okay. I definitely will hold you to that to that specific suggestion. Yeah, we'll see. Let's talk later on when we'll have PS Pro.
Yes.
Do you know when you think it will be delivered? How long is wait time?
I mean, November 7th is like a start sales, but I don't know like when they actually get delivered to me. So we'll see.
Got it. So there is no promises? Are they like Apple saying, "Oh, will be delivered in a particular date" or nothing?
I ordered on the Best Buy. So last PS5 was shit show because there was no pre-orders. They like sell and immediately gone out of sale. Now they're doing pre-orders, so I hope at least there's a queue. But whatever, we'll see.
Got it. Oh, interesting. Until Dawn. So yeah, it's pretty nice starting library of enchant games. I wonder what they mean by enchant in this case. It's like it will work with...
Okay, so what they're doing essentially, for some games, they finally... Because, like many games has a selection either 4K or 60 FPS, or more or less this choice. And for many games, they actually update them to use like 60 FPS 4K. So it would be like no choice. Plus, they bringing like AI upscale, essentially for, I think it's already available on NVIDIA cards, and some games will benefit just without even modifications. So it could be like 60 FPS, like full HD or 140p something, and they will upscale with AI to like higher resolution.
Got it. PlayStation's spectral super resolution. Oh my God. I wonder if this is technology of the AMD and their GPUs.
I think like everyone is doing, so it's not new, like completely something invented by PlayStation. I'm pretty sure NVIDIA already doing that.
Oh yeah, they were doing DLSL. Is it DLSS?
Exactly. Everyone just naming with random stuff.
Yeah, but I think they were the first, and they were doing it for quite some time with upscaling. And I mean, it's still puzzling to me why Xbox and PlayStation are still using AMD GPUs. It's just hard to figure out.
I think like for PlayStation, they like has a good contract with AMD, and AMD make pretty much custom solution for them. Like for example, the small things like there's no like they use this liquid how's it called? Like the way they transfer heat from processor to radiator, like using some liquid metal, like they do like a lot of customizations, and I guess they have like a good contract, like with a good price. So maybe NVIDIA just didn't give them like a good price.
I also think so. So the reason probably money, that's for sure. But still, it feels weird. The market is big, and I mean, it's not on the same magnitude, but this reminds me a story how Intel said no to Apple when they asked to develop their own processors. And, to me, this is very, very similar. You're missing out on a huge market. And yes, the chance that this market will be the catalyst that will kill everything else you're doing is small, I agree. But who knows? You never know.
Maybe like NVIDIA folks like, swimming in money from AI. They're like, who cares about PlayStation?
Yeah, that's true. By the way, I think several episodes ago I mentioned this, but we'll mention again because it's kind of important related to this. So NVIDIA several generations ago finally have completely split GForce and Tesla solutions of their cards. So no longer the cards that are in the data centers have any graphics, and no longer graphics card has all the part of the AI. It's now... Which is funny because now you shouldn't be calling it GPUs. It's no longer GPUs.
But I think I'm pretty sure many people still use like regular GeForce video cards for like AI.
Oh yes, you can, but it doesn't have everything that the one that goes in data center has, and vice versa. So it's no longer the same chip. Some time ago, it was exactly the same chip. I think Volta still had exactly the same on the production and inside of your solution, GeForce card, effectively.
I guess it makes sense for them to separate these markets because they can give different prices. Because for chips that goes to data centers, they can like put more price, and like for regular video cards, less price. You know, like many manufacturers actually split product. Manufacturing costs could be like slightly different, but they actually make like luxury and regular version.
Oh yeah, that by the way was a case for NVIDIA for many years, in the sense that it's the same chip that they would cost you way more when you're buying data center versions. And the fun part that obviously a lot of the cloud providers in China who have absolutely zero respect for doing business in proper way and tolerate any proper agreement and legal agreement, they was just buying GeForce and putting in data centers where it would violate any agreements of how you can use GeForce, because you cannot use it that way, but they still were doing it. Now that's ship have sailed.
I remember this, like I think it was PlayStation 4, maybe some other like console, but the processor had like eight cores, and usually during like process, sometimes like one core, maybe even more cores like broken. But one has a good chance to be broken because like out of 8, one of them like. So essentially the whole platform was only utilizing 7 cores. And for processors that actually like has 8 cores that are fully working, they just disable one because they need like fleet of the same machines. And this actually drive price lower because they now could include this like a malformed, like slightly broken chips.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. I think in the past, I don't remember it, but I think AMD CPUs, they were building a top-notch CPUs, but then they were selling the CPUs with less number of cores, is effectively just defective full-size core chips. Very similar strategy.
I think the same was like with the Intel i3 something. They use like just the same chips. They just like explicitly block few cores and then sell it cheaper.
A few cores that are probably broken.
It actually wasn't, like in some cases they are not. That was like a point. Obviously, like sometimes it's broken, but sometimes it's not. The idea is just like to have like a separate market for that.
Yeah, that reminds me a story with a car manufacturer. I think it's Mercedes that was the first that started doing the same engine for different trims is just locked with particular power modes. So it will be slightly less powered on cheaper machine, but it's still the same engine. I don't know, there is something fun to it. But at the same point, let's look on Hummer. We're taking the Hummer EV car, and right now, if you want to buy a Hummer, you only can buy the top notch, which is probably 100K plus or something. I have not looked at it for quite some time, but I'm pretty sure it's still the case. So let's give them something. Yeah, so it's more than 100. And in many cases, less than 100K, you will wait delivery forever. And I guess, I'm not even guessing, in case of the electric cars, not much you can change. And I guess they probably will not be even changing anything. It's four-wheel drives on all the setups, and when they will be producing cheaper version, I'm pretty sure it will be the same engine. It's electric car. The only thing you can change is number of engine, I guess. And
you know, like many brands has like luxury, like Toyota and Lexus, right? Like a lot of stuff is the same. We just like update like internal. So maybe they'll do like a slightly less battery. Battery, I think, is a good place to cut. You know, like to make it cheaper, like cut range, something like this.
But do you think they're actually cutting it or just selling you literally same battery just locked?
I think in case of battery, it's better, like it's easier for them to cut because you cut a weight, then you like still can expand a bit range, and like otherwise people will unlock it.
That's true, but you know, okay, you cut away, you expand range, but then your cheaper machine has longer range.
I mean, probably it won't be this way. Like it's like you cut range significantly, but because you reduce the battery, like not as you would be with a full battery. By the way, about cars, interesting. Like thing with Tesla, like news with Tesla. I think Tesla, like so far as at least I know, only manufacturer who like updating and adding new feature to old machines. And what's interesting, Tesla Model Y, one has like last year they upgraded to hardware 4 from hardware 3, and it actually changed like internals. They actually ditched some useful like ultrasound sensors, but they upgraded like chip itself. It became more powerful. They upgraded cameras, and they made an interesting statement recently. They will try to enable full self-driving, which is full self-driving, on a previous hardware version 3. But if not, they will offer a free retrofitting of new technologies into old cars.
Ooh.
And I think this is like so good compared that I have to pay $500 to add a CarPlay into Mazda, which will look exactly like a Mazda with a CarPlay, just didn't have it. with exactly the same screen and everything. It just like enabled CarPlay.
This is sick. This is amazing. It's amazing. So effectively, what you're saying that they for the hardware 4 and hardware 4 has it now has some additional sensors that are back, right?
No, it's like quite opposite. Hardware 4 actually ditched a lot of sensors. It's only cameras. And that's why when it was released initially, it, for example, lacked features like after parking that previous version has. Now they actually made after parking work with cameras. But apparently they struggle to make the new self-driving that uses only cameras work on previous hardware. Probably because, again, like the power needed, like computational power needed is not there.
Wait, so explain this to me. Maybe no, because I'm not paying too much close attention to Tesla. So Tesla used to have a lot of sensors, then they ditched it to the cameras only. And then they put back radars. And I was saying
no radars. Like at least in the current cars, there is no radars. They still keep only cameras. Okay,
but there was the Tesla announced putting back HD radar. So the Tesla announced that they are going to put back Tesla teardown confirms the presence of new radar. New radar in HV-equipped vehicles. So yes, that's okay. Now it's clicked. So they ditch everything, and then they announced that they're going back to HD radar. That's where everyone was speculating. So you failed to do with only cameras, and looks like.
I think it may be the case. My car doesn't have radar. I think it was really. I need to check it, but it may be related to new Model 3 that has hardware 4, but maybe it also has radar, which is not enabled. Which means, like, will they retrofit old cars or not? And while they have history of retrofitting, it gives me some hope that if they will add radar, it will be done in my car as well.
Got it. Yes, it's interesting to see because radar requires obviously the place to put it, and the car never had a place.
It's a place and work and like a lot of stuff.
Yep. Okay, so this is now it's clicked because I wasn't sure which generation of the hardware they pivoted again. Last time when they ditched it, it was like in 2020, and honestly, there was a lot of marketing about this that you only need cameras, but in reality, that was in the peak of supply shortage and problems, and that was a logical move at that point. Anyway. How do you like Tesla after such a long time of usage, and what can you say? Would you recommend?
I would say yes. I think it's a very practical car. Again, there's nothing fancy, nothing you can call luxury, but feature-wise, it works well. And like, I think my favorite part is lack of maintenance. I mean, probably most of EVs like this, like there's not really things you need to maintain besides like charging it at home or whatever, and like adding fluid like for wind washers. And I like that they are actually adding features because I don't feel like I spend money and like new version gets some nice features and I don't. No, they actually like whatever is possible they added back, which is always good.
You mentioned it doesn't require maintenance. So I'm driving Chevy. One of my cars is Chevy Bolt EV. And amazing car, honestly, I love it. But this is interesting. But so I used to have it for several years, and then I was leasing it, and then I bought at some point. And when I bought, obviously, I updated to the latest one. I bought the one that has self-driving. Jesus, they no longer have it even on their site. Chevy Bolt EV. Let me find the proper picture. So yeah, it looks more or less like that. And when I was leasing for 3 years, the previous generation without autopilot, it was amazing. Nothing, like exactly as saying, there is no servicing. When I bought the Chevy, so in the first year, my fast charger broke down. I literally have to give it back, and they said that they need to replace the charging part in the car. They replaced everything. Some time ago, we suddenly have a back camera on the back, rear camera stopped working. Like
that's a bad.
Yep.
But also, like, it's not maintenance I'm talking about. Obviously, yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Cars malfunctions. I'm pretty sure there's like owner of Tesla who's like spent like 10% of time in the service, like, so, because like everything is broken. I'm also talking about like what would you expect from a car, and even like not visiting gas stations. It seems like a minor thing, but I remember how hated I like when I get late evening after office to home and see that I have like not much gas and I need to refuel, and just like going to this like gas station at night where I can be at home was so annoying, even if it's like few minutes. Yeah, not having this experience is good.
This is what surprised me about electric cars as well, because everyone's saying, oh, you have this problem with waiting on the charging station for hours. In reality, either home work, you're charging it, and instead of adding more time to charge, you're actually reducing time that you used to spend to go to the gas station. And people just don't realize that. But yeah, it's now so annoying to go and fill up the gas tank.
Yeah. Another thing, like often I see people compare Tesla with like other electric cars. And often, like other electric cars has a better price, more like internal features. And I kind of, I think people missing the point. When you like use Tesla, like one of the main features you buy it's actually like full self-driving. Again, it's a fake name, but essentially enhanced autopilot, let's call it that, right? And I think this is actually where Tesla is unbeatable on cars that you actually can go and buy. It's actually drive okay on the highways. Like I would say it drive well on the highways, it drive okay in the city. And it reduces like fatigue and like tiredness like a lot. So I think that's why I would pay for Tesla over like other cars, because when I was picking an electric car, I was like considering like Hyundai because I'm pretty huge fan of Hyundai, but I picked Tesla exactly because of autopilot, and it keeps getting better. And I think if other like car will have the same, regardless gas or electric, that would be like what you compare to Tesla.
That makes sense. And obviously, I don't have the same experience on autopilot as you are, because my Chevy Bolt only can drive on the highways. But even the exposure that they have, it's amazing. Autopilot for me also is a game changer. It's for 2 years almost, my pattern was go on the highway and eat breakfast while the car driving. Like that was literally my pattern each morning.
Yeah, talking about that, like in the leasing feature, when I just first purchased, Tesla required me to hold the steering wheel, later it actually changed. Hey, it actually can use camera, and if you without sunglasses, you don't need to like hold steering wheel. You can just look at in front of you. And then like after a few months, they actually added like even if you're in sunglasses, it can still track your eyes, so you don't need to hold the steering wheel. So and this feature is just constantly like updating, which is always nice to get.
So you see, it's finally exactly a Chevy Bolt. That's
to be honest, sometimes I wish it doesn't have it, because I'm maybe not a very I'd say like a good driver, and sometimes I don't want to look in front of me. Mm-hmm. And like it can be annoying, but it requires me to.
That's true, but in between having to have to hold the steering wheel and look on the road, I would pick look on the road.
Actually, it depends. Like often when I drive, like my hand just resting on the wheel. It's not like I holding it, just resting. So, and luckily Tesla right now, I think it actually like if you don't look, it's not buzzing you. Just like say, hey, I'm not able to see your eyes. I'm just opt in for like using your hands.
Got it. By the way, last thing I want to mention, to the best of my knowledge, about the Tesla is Cybertruck just got a range extender.
Oh, I see, like just a big box in trunk.
Oh, yes. And you can pay, I think it's 19,000. Oh, 22 in Canada. Okay, it's in Canada. 19,000 to getting this extender. And I believe that how much it actually extends. How much the range extender expects to start around? I don't know for how long it extends. Oh, 450. Okay, so it's now going to drive as Silverado, because Silverado was unbeatable, 450 miles. And because
someone need to just put like a huge, like, you know, like to fill all space in the trunk.
the trunk, yes.
I'm curious, will it actually extend much or not?
Oh, so I think it will, because again, 450 miles, this is a new range that you'll get.
Yeah, but like it's obviously had to wait.
Yes, for sure. Yes. But
I'm pretty sure like the truck itself is so huge already, so it's not really adding much in percentage.
Yep. And I still would prefer Silverado because it has the same range. The same range out of the box means that you do not waste your bad truck. And in case of Silverado, it's huge and, it's already bigger. And with this particular thing, it's, I'm not sure how good is a Cybertruck if half of your trunk you're using for battery.
I'm pretty sure most people who drive Cybertruck now feel like 10% of their trunk most of the time.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Yes, 100%. But in this case, why not to introduce, like Tesla Cybertruck Ultimate Range, where you don't have a trunk at all, it's just battery.
That's what I'm saying. Someone need to make this, like, just like there's no trunk, there's just like huge battery.
Yeah, and that's it. Yes. Okay. I misunderstood you in the beginning. Okay. Anything else about the cars, my friend, or we can move forward?
No, I'm really waiting for you to tell about your tool, Gemini Agents Toolkit.
Yes, GAT. We just had another release of Gemini Agents Toolkit, and let me find the GitHub link so I can actually show some of this stuff. So first of all, let me reiterate motivation. So LLMs today are still non-production ready. What I mean by that if you're trying to integrate LLM with any actions, you will see that it's just unstable. It works maybe 95% of the time, 98% of the time, and only if you are using the highest paid models. So if you're using cheaper model, doesn't matter OpenAI or Gemini, but like cheaper version, Gemini Flash, for example, it's even worse. It might be 70% of the time when actually everything is working. And the whole idea of my toolkit, one, just to introduce more simple APIs for developer to be able to do pipelining. And I will open an example of the pipelines. This is just an example, so to speak. So the more simple abstraction to do the pipelining, but on top of that, make it work. Just make so you can actually deploy it in the production. And there is so many hacks inside that actually happening there under the hood that obviously transparent for the developers. For example, we just have figured out that if you're asking LLM to do complex things, and it's hard for me to, I will give you an example, but it's hard for me to exactly formalize how to distinguish if you do or you do not do complex tasks. But let's say if you're asking LLM something like, check if my buy limit is less than current price minus 5%.
Okay.
You're actually asking LLM to calculate one thing, memorize it, calculate another things, and then compare it what you have memorized before. And LLM cannot memorize. So it will try to do this, but because it cannot do in the mind things that I just mentioned, and especially the best intuition would be if you're asking it to do something, then it need to memorize that to use it with another stuff, and you're doing it with one request. you will see that 5 to 10% of the time it might hallucinate, might not properly execute it. And again, this is the details for production. When you just do a demo, it will work for sure. Like, and you can
not always.
Not always, exactly. Yes. And now when you have a pipeline with many steps like that, if you have 90%, 10% or 5% chances that it will not work, now you have 20 steps in the pipeline. Now your chances is significantly higher. Now put this pipeline in the for loop in production, oh my God, it will just not work. So in many cases, we now have introduced a bunch of the type steps, which is effectively a step that you expected to produce a particular type, and under the hood, we can validate that. So this forces developers to start splitting the task into 2 subtasks. So in the previous example, the one task might be, give me a price that is less than the current price by 5%. And then you can say that the result should be flawed. And then you can have second request, check if my purchasing power, if my buy order has price lower and higher than X, and X is a variable that you obtain on the previous step. And you're asking it to return Boolean. So now it will enforce Boolean, it will return you true or false. So these typed steps, they allow you to help developers to start reasoning in a better way of how to do much better logical chains of the requests. It's also enforcing particular type. Under the hood, what actually have happens is your request will go to the agent that you defined, and then under the hood, we will pipe your answer to a much simpler model with only one goal: to enforce a type.
Who defines these models? Like, is like embedded in Toolkit?
Oh, you as a developer can define when you're creating a pipeline which particular. So right now it's only Gemini, but you can define which Gemini model to use.
I see.
And then this specific enforcer, you need to tell us if you want to use it or not, because in this case, we have a very concrete model with very concrete additional steps that we're using to help to enforce a particular type. Because you probably have seen it, even if you're trying to say to any LLM, return me a number, it might return you quotas number, or it might return you the surrounding elements that preparing it to look nicely or something, not always a number. So that's why we're piping under the hood in a special, much simpler model. Again, you can switch it off, but by default it's switched on, that using a type enforcement. The Gemini and OpenAI, they have this feature where you can specify a very specific type that the model should return. So now you can take a type of the bigger model and funnel it to the smaller model to do that type verification and then return. So, and these are the small things, and there is many hacks like that the whole idea of this toolkit to make it production ready. And there are many hacks, pre-prompts that you don't have to care about. Even this sanitation of the type that I just mentioned, it includes smaller model, but it also includes a special prompt for that. So that's TLDR, and now we are already at the point where, to the best of our knowledge, places where it's used in production no longer have frequent crashes.
Can you like tell me like a few use cases, a few more?
So right now, the only 2 real customers are using it for trading. That's why one of the examples specifically for trading. Let me actually, one is on GitHub, one that a friend of mine is actually developing right now. So it has the very simple pipeline that obviously if you're listening to us, you will not see, but it's a very simple pipeline, and it's doing stuff like buying TQQQ and doing a swing trades. That's effectively a full notion. The second pipeline that I'm aware about the production, also trading, but not on the public GitHub, because another customer actually was not comfortable, even though he was trying to ask to publish it here. So that's really it. In all of the pipelines, they constantly execute it in the loop, and each of the pipeline has dozens of the steps. So yeah, that's more or less TLDR.
Have you seen like recent update from Claude from Anthropic? They actually made agents that can control your screen by using screenshots and moving mouse. People having fun like buying tickets and doing stuff, but it's still like pretty expensive because like every request is like make a screenshot, get a command where to move or click.
I have heard the news. I have not even saw the announcement, but this remind me LLM compiler OS control your computer. So there is actually quite stable project that unfortunately I don't remember, but it's what quite popular some time ago with exactly same thing. It's running LLM, but the reason why that particular project got popular, it's using Ollama.
Oh, I see. So it's local.
Yes. So you can use it local, or you can pipe something else, but it's capable of using some local models. What was that? LLM that controls your computer. Jesus, I forgot. And unlike many other projects, it was beautiful. Their site was beautiful, properly done, and I really liked it. Unfortunately, I cannot quickly find it. Maybe they already died.
It could be. I think it's still not ready, probably, for most use.
I'm pretty sure that the problem is exactly as described. It's the same problem because I had the same thing with OpenAI. Sure, it can do it, but now if it doesn't work 1 out of 10 examples, you will not use it in production. So it start to annoy you with cases when it's crashing, doesn't work. But for the demo, it's amazing because, it can configure something.
It reminds me one of recent Peleon's book where LLM was supplying itself with prompts to keep working and producing new prompts.
Wait, you already have a book about LLMs?
I mean, it was last year.
There is something to this because now new LLMs effectively learning based on the output of previous LLMs, isn't it?
Yeah, in his book was like LLM created the whole bunch of characters, whole world just to to supply itself with the new stories to keep going.
Oh man! By the way, this remind me. Have you tried Character.AI?
Isn't it one that was like completely hacked and data gone recently?
All these nuances. Who cares? No, I don't know actually if this is with them or not. The premium domain name available. Are they dead? Character, just Character.AI, not the plural, singular. Looks like this is yes, this is the one. I don't have account logged in here. So this is quite actually old site. And the whole idea is, as it sounds, Character.AI, you creating characters based on the LLM and then you talking to them. And this site and this service was created way before even custom GPTs got introduced. And I extremely puzzled and amazed how little looks like audience they were able to capture. That was here before custom GPTs. And
was it one that was tried to recreate you, or it was a different one?
Oh, this is different. This is literally custom GPTs before custom GPTs was introduced, where like you can create Einstein and you can create prompts, you can create everything, and you can even earn money from your character to some extent.
I think it was last week when was something like this, where people were creating like a virtual girlfriends. It was breached and data was leaked with the people names. And obviously people created very illegal characters in some jurisdictions, I would say. And obviously the text that we were chatting with such characters were pretty sensitive.
Yes, I imagine. Well, to all the listeners, if your mental capacity on the level that doesn't suggest to you that you should have a burning email that is not attached to you when you registering for character for virtual entity in the LLM. I don't know what to say to you. it's yes.
I think I like to think about, like, when I have data like stored somewhere else, I like to think about this as a conversation in cafe, like waiters or like people who talk nearby, they don't actively listen to me, like, they don't really care, but you still better not to tell something really, really bad, because it still can be recorded by camera, so someone has a phone turned on or something. So
interesting. This is very interesting because, I actually have a somewhat different pattern. So yes, I'm afraid to speak in cafe, same things, but I probably might be a little bit more open with a completely randomized stranger. Just by knowing that I never, ever will see that person.
Yeah, it's like kind of like record, because technically internet make it worse because things are there stored, like maybe for next 10 years no one gives a shit, and then after 10 years someone gets really good, like LLM or AI that goes through all data in the world and find something bad on you. Like if you try to become a president of United States, you will get a lot of dirt on you.
But this reminds me that there is a study already. AI companions reduce loneliness. So looks like yes, done by Harvard quite recently. So when it was done, 2024 for sure, but when is the publication have happened? June 2024. So like super recent, because obviously AI companions were not around for a long enough. The reasonably good AI companions were not long enough to conduct studies before. So finally we see one of the first, and we'll see way more. But so far it actually shows how meaningfully good this technology can be for the society. It actually shows improvements.
I don't know. It shows, like, obviously I'm only reading titles, so it doesn't really give me information. I completely agree that, like, I understand how it can reduce loneliness, and I understand why it's good. Someone who is like, in depression, maybe can't talk to people, and having AI companion is good. What I would like to see, like another study, to check if person who has really bad communication skills and because of that isolated, spend time talking to AI companion, will his social skills improve that he can actually go to talk to people, or actually degrade because AI companion, agrees with him and try to adjust itself? That would be very interesting, because if we see that actually people who has like really bad social skills and isolated because of that, after like talking to chat, can actually go and have real friends, that would be really good outcome.
From that perspective, actually, I agree with you. To be fair, my point of view, I think this is road to the complete elimination of humanity. Because you have less reason to go and deal with other people that genuinely bad, and you have to deal with them. And let's be honest, in many cases, this unit of society, family, in many cases, not always, but in many cases, is people are settling down with a partner they found, but not the ideal partner for them.
Oh yeah, they need to learn like how to negotiate, how to adjust.
Exactly, yes. But the whole push for that is because they want to create family. Now, if you will eliminate the push, you can get the same things. Like 20 years from now, you will have sex partners available, indistinguishable from human. You will have AI companions that can talk to you and be indistinguishable with human being. That would be the end.
I still like getting refers to like Pelevin's book, like one of his old books, where it's like people have sex with robots, but it was very it wasn't illegal or it wasn't bad, but it was considered like, like you being like have a slightly weird sexual orientation. And they were trying to fight for their rights to have a sex with dolls.
Dolls.
No, like they call it dolls, but like with robots.
But in the beginning, it feels indeed that it can be called orientation or how you choosing to do so. But if we get to the point where they are actually completely indistinguishable, That's it. I don't think there is a return, and you cannot call it a preference or anything. It's indistinguishable.
I mean, we'll have to make like like government legislations that like as you're young, you need to live with your sibling and person who is like super annoying to you, but you have to deal with it.
But okay, here is a question to you. What if possible universe, or not alternative universe, alternative future, we will find way to create humans artificially? And we already can create humans artificially, but like completely artificially. So now, do you see the possibility that we will have a law or the processes where the society will be creating humans based on the need of having particular amount of individuals, while the rest will be robots? Families will be with robots. If you want to have a kid, fine, you will have a kid, but that's not the kid that you produce, so to speak. And
you're pretty much describing Brave New World book.
Yes. Pretty much, yes. Brave New World goes even further, but yes, pretty much, yes.
I think the problem here is not possibilities. I'm actually don't mind like people creating people, and the problem here is first, like, does it fall like from this? Is it following that people can't make children by their own? Like limitation. That would something I would oppose. And the third one, like how people who like were not created but were born creating people who were creating. Would it be segregation or not? If everyone lives happily and like a fixed problem with not enough people born naturally, like I don't see a big huge issue. And I'm pretty sure we'll see like some people not creating artificially, but rather, like some families may not have a children or don't want to go through pregnancy, and some like kids can be born like outside of like human.
So here's at least my logic why I think that majority will not be in X generations from us. Obviously, not anytime soon. People will not be creating children directly. So statement number one, evidently, people would prefer best partner, even if this means having no ability to have their native kids with them. And effectively, almost any same-sex marriages tells that. Almost no people who want to do a same-sex marriage deciding to do opposite-sex marriage for the sake of having kids that are their own.
Oh yeah, plus add to this, like once we get like a gene modification enabled, right, like for people born, it will start like this race to like a better humans. And I think it also was like one of books I read, a society where, like parents who wants like better for their kids, right now, like you want to give your kids like better school, better college there yourself. And in that book, there was like parents were trying to get their kids better genes, like the best, like what they can get, they like accumulate money, so like this also could be a reason,
True.
Like, not like because like in a world where like everyone's super smart, super healthy, and you by choosing like natural born kids, you actually put them in the risk of diseases, like being disadvantaged. It's also kind of like something that can prevent natural born people.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Anyway, I don't know if we'll be around to see that bright future, but to be fair, I think that the conversation around something similar might be happening, yes, in 10 to 20 years from now, because the population is slowly reducing, the growth of population slowly slowing down, and now it will be the same question again. Are we increasing immigration? Or decreasing or increasing, or if we're decreasing, what do? We need more people. How to solve that? So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so last thing I want to mention, there is several interesting announcements from Gemini specifically. An interesting switch of the topic, right? From population to Gemini. let's go to Gemini. Well, we have like 5 minutes left, so I just pick it to quickly share what there is happening. So there is updates on models. Almost all Pro and Flash models updated to version 2. So now we can use Gemini Pro 002, Gemini
Tell
Flash.
Me why all companies with AI has such a problem with naming. Like Anthropic recently released Claude Opus 3.5 new, Now this Gemini 1.5 Pro 002.
I think they all trying to be more like Google.
I don't know. I think it started with OpenAI.
Wait, so you're saying that Google was good with naming?
I don't know. Google was also bad with naming, but now every AI product has problem with versioning, like on all levels. It's like different parallel models, different numbers. Now it's like sub-version of this like parallel models.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. And yes, I agree with you. It is horrible. But tell me how to solve that, because you have 3 dimensions. You have dimension 1, which is name of the product, which is API that you're providing. Gemini. Now, dimension 2 is your architecture, which is architecture is a factor. Yeah, architecture.
What does, like, I'm an end user. I'm not a huge brain. I'm just like using it on my phone. Like, what does architecture mean for me? Like smart or dumb LLM?
And the type of modalities that it supports. So can it support audio? Can it support video? So in some case, it might be smarter for video. In the other case, smarter for text only. And it might be a little bit even different.
I see. Okay. I would call them like car brands. Like, okay, we have like a second name, Gemini Superstar.
Superstar. Okay. So here we go. Eventually, you will have to introduce version of the architecture. That's inevitable. Like you will have a better tuned architecture, and there will be previews and a new one, probably different in price.
Like just release, like if it's like Gemini Superstar next version, just release it. Like you don't let people use 2 of them.
Oh, for the API one, you cannot do that.
Because APIs is just like attach date on last release. That's it.
Wait, but then the last dimension, this is where they usually use date or numbers, is when you trained it last. That's another thing, because train also might improve quality in many cases if you played with data, might also emphasize which knowledge.
Let people with API suffer like this problem, right? Just give them hash, like for every version, just give them hash. If they use hash and it's hash working and new hash is not working, then get back to previous hash, and you have table of hashes. For people who are outside of this madness, and like, what I need to know on my phone, like, okay, is it fast and dumb, or slow and smart?
That I agree with you 100%. Like, I'm with you on that one, and I really like Apple. Apple will solve it. Just give you one model.
They have AI.
And it will use ChatGPT, but you will not know the name of the model because you don't have to.
They don't even came up with a separate name. It's just like Apple Intelligence.
Yeah. Yes. By the way, before we proceed with Gemini, I cannot not to speak about the Apple, because you reminded me. I finally tested iMessage via satellite.
Ooh.
It was amazing, like magic, Apple magic. It's
surprisingly, when I was messaging to you, it actually showed me like a sign that you actually using satellite, and it asked me like, do I actually want to send you message? Like, like when you send like with someone who has silent mode, you can have like, hey, do you actually want, like, it sends a message, but then it asks you like, do you actually want also like to notify person? Here it was, I sent a message, and apparently like you would receive it through normal network, but it also asked me, do I want to push it right now through satellite?
Makes sense. And this is also required on both sides' latest iOS, because I tested it with several folks, and looks like you had the latest iOS. Because if you do not, because I have several folks who do not, it actually will send it as an SMS. So they will receive it on their side. It immediately goes to a green mode, where it's actually SMS. And at that point, whatever they respond will be delivered to me through their channel, but SMS immediately limits them on pictures, because there is type of the contact they cannot send. So unless iOS knows that, like in your case, they have to force to go to text only.
I'm not sure. I didn't send you, like, we need to try to send pictures actually, because pictures to satellite, so it makes sense to get to SMS as well.
True, but what I saw with you, it works much better through the native iMessage protocol that just limited to text. Because with SMS messages, literally it was slicing my message onto SMS messages. It was ugly as hell, but anyway, it works like magic. Okay, so finishing with Gemini. So this was the first release. They released new models, just better, faster. I can confirm, much faster, cheaper. They have reduced the price on the Pro and Flash. They make it faster. It's actually noticeably faster. And on top of that, they have released a new model that is not mentioned here, which is 8 billion parameter model. Gemini Flash. So this is effectively a model that is cheaper and faster, and all other metrics are better, but surprisingly that it's almost as good as the previous version of Flash. So they release a new Flash, which under the hood clearly has a new architecture, and this new model, which is smaller, almost as good as previous Flash.
Oh, I see.
It obviously not as good because 8 billion parameter is smaller, so clearly it's much smaller in size. But whatever they're doing, it's reasonably good, and in some cases, actually even better.
While we're talking, I found that Llama 3.21b released, which is super small. I need to try how fast it is, because I want something really quick that I may be able to use on small devices.
Speaking about names, 3.1 and 3.2, when they separated, 3.2 is focusing on small size. You will not find big models. 3.1 is focusing on bigger models. So yes, it's speaking about naming. I think the Llama had the most sane naming convention until 3.2.
Yes, of course, it was version bomb makes it better.
Yep. Anyway, anything else, my friend, you want to touch base about, or we can slowly wind it down?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, in this case, folks, have an amazing rest of the weekend, and we will talk to you same place, same time next week. Bye-bye.